inside one of these warehouses an absolute treasure trove of army memorabilia and all sorts of different military vehicles, uniforms, medals and all of that kind of thing. And today what we're going to do is we're really privileged actually to be able to go into the stores of the National Army Museum, and we're going to take photographs of Siborne's large model of the battlefield of Waterloo.
My name is Ben Taggart. I'm a professional architectural model maker, and I'm also the great-great-great-grandson of William Siborne, the creator of the famous Waterloo model. His career has always been something that has been in my family, that I've known about for years, but as I grew up I had no idea that my life would take the path that it has and that I would become a model maker myself.
My name's Mike Johnson, I'm from LP Archaeology, and I'm here doing a photogrammetry model of Siborne's physical model of the Battle of Waterloo. Photogrammetry is where we're taking hundreds of photographs of the model from loads of different angles, and then using computer software later we're going to be able to reconstruct a digital model of the physical model.
He was commissioned by Lord Hill to create the model in 1830, which was 15 years after the battle, and he took the opportunity to make a series of questionnaires up, which he sent to as many surviving soldiers as he could find, and he was given hundreds and hundreds of responses, and from this and from an incredibly detailed topographical survey of the battlefield, he produced the model. The survey was something that he did himself. He spent something like 8 months on the battlefield, camping out, and this was long before Ordnance Survey existed, so the map he created of the battlefield was groundbreaking in itself. And then on top of that, he wanted obviously to create the positions of all the soldiers at the time of the battle. The arrival of the Prussians and the turning point of the battle was the moment that he decided to create his model. So it's a model of action frozen in time, which makes it an absolutely fascinating thing to look at.
This section that we've been doing today is the section with Huguemont Farm. You can see that it's all been burnt, and it's got all the details of the flame damage. There's also got the chapel in there, obviously the walled garden area with the loopholes.
It's fascinating for me to get an insight into how he worked, and looking at the model in the National Army Museum, I noticed so many things that were very familiar to me. His use of materials, for instance, his model was basically made on a wooden box structure, on top of which the terrain was built out of plaster of Paris, and his grass for various fields and textures were made of a range of materials, but he even sometimes used toweling to produce the long grass or the hay that he wanted to create.
Now that we've taken all of the photographs, we can bring them back in and load them all up into the computer. And for each section we take about maybe 250 to say 600 photographs, depending on how complicated the section of the model is. We load those photos into some photogrammetry software, which analyses each photo and figures out where that photo was taken from in relation to all of the other photographs. And by putting them all together, it can create a 3D model of the real model. So here's Huguemont Farm. Already you can see all of the details are being picked up extremely well just from taking a series of photographs. So we've got some troops hiding behind the wall here, we've got some garden features, and if you look at the buildings, Siborne's model was built to represent the end of the battle, and at the end of the battle Huguemont itself was virtually burnt to the ground, so all of the roofs are all burnt off, and you can see all of the damage to the chateau and the buildings as well. So we can also do some other quite interesting things with this now that we've built the 3D model. So if we look at this here, we've got the modern aerial photographs of the modern landscape, but we can put on our 3D model and overlay that onto the modern photographs. You'll see that it fits in nicely here, and if I zoom in a little bit, you'll see how well it actually fits. So we've got the road coming down here, we've got the some tracks coming across here, and field boundaries. It fits extremely well. And effectively what we've created is a Google Earth 1815. It's an aerial photograph of the landscape in 1815. Siborne, when he surveyed the battlefield, was very diligent, and he also recorded what type of crops were growing in what fields. You know, he recorded the sort of heights of the hedges and all of that type of thing. And by overlaying that here, we really have an amazing picture of the battlefield that is completely unique. There's no other way that you could find this from contemporary maps or anything like that.